In today's class, you will be able to understand to relate volume of a cuboid to find the volumes of the other prisms, pyramids, and use them to solve problems. Well, so pyramids, you might have been seen in pictures at least, right? And why should we learn to find the volume of prisms or pyramids means just look at the shampoo bottles here or some liquids. Suppose if I go to a store and if I see that one tall bottle and one short bottle, I see that here the tall bottle is costing less. Please notice that the tall bottle is costing $9.96 and the short bottle is costing $14.40. But I may get tempted to buy the tall bottle because the reason is it seems the tall one may have, this is my assumption, the tall one may have more quantity and the short one may have less quantity. That too, the price is the tall bottle is costing less and this one is costing more. So I may get tempted to buy maybe the tall one, right? But if you compute the quantity in it, then you can understand which is a better buy or which is a best buy. Okay. So again, as I mentioned before, which is the best buy means we have to think of finding what is the volume. What is the volume? First of all, what is volume? What is volume? What is volume? The amount of a three-dimensional space something takes up. What is three-dimensional means? Please look at this diagram and you see that it has some length. Oops, my bad. So you see that it has some length and it has some width. Here is the width. Oops, I can't see clearly the screen. Yeah, this is the width and this is the height. This is the height. Therefore, I see that three dimensions, that is the length here and width here and here is the height of the object. So this is having three dimensions. So this is called as 3D figure. The amount of a three-dimensional space something takes up. Imagine how much water could it be in it. This is also called as capacity. And don't forget the units of volumes are cubic units. You know, if a number is multiplied, let's say 2 times 2 times 2, so we say that it is 2 cube, right? So 2 cube. And in your previous classes, you learned that the volume of a cuboid, that is length times width times height. Therefore, here, let me take that, say this is 10 inches, then width is 4 inches, and height is 5 inches. So 10 times 4, 40. 40 times 5, it is 200. But here, the most important thing is inches times inches times inches. So inches is copied 3 times. Please look at the example which I quoted in the beginning, that is 2 times 2 times 2, that is equals to 2 cube. So here inches times inches times inches, that is equals to inches cube. Does it make sense now? So you take any object and if you are finding the volume, then you are expected to express in terms of cubic units. Cubic units. Now, let's talk about prisms and pyramids. Well, why should we learn to find the volume of a prism or pyramid? Look at these popcorn bags. Suppose if I go to a cinema theater, I love to eat popcorn while watching the film, or maybe at home. Then, if I'm watching a film, I love to eat popcorn. Here, I see that one bag is uh, 4 inches long. Oops, 4 inches long, and next 3 inches wide, and height is let's say that some uh, 8 8 inches. Let me take a small number, maybe some 6 inches, and the other one is 4 inches long, 4 inches wide, and say that 5 inches height. So which one holds more? I know that in cinema theaters they give very small base and they give very tall pack, but it appears that it is holding a lot, but it is not. If the base is it's really very small, it holds very little quantity, but it appears that if it is a long one, then it appears that it is holding a lot of popcorn, but it is not true. So this is how you are being cheated, right? Say that another example. Suppose if you notice carefully, the school lockers, they are tall towers, and the gym lockers, they are wider, right? So let's look at the example given in this diagram. I see that length of the school locker is 12 inches and width is 10 inches. And next, the gym locker, it is 12 inches long and 15 inches wide. I see that the width of gym lockers are more. These are wider as compared to the school lockers. And when it comes to height, the school locker is 60 and this one is 48. Therefore, why this one will explore in the next part. Okay. So first of all, let me copy this. Okay. Let's go to the next page. We'll see that what is the basic difference between a prism and a pyramid. Okay. Uh, Most often then students get confused the difference. When you're given a question on prism, you may use the formula of pyramid and vice versa. So what is the basic difference between these two means prisms have a base which is same as their top. So please notice that I'm taking here the first one is prism. So please notice that the base is a triangle, and even the top, or you can call it as the ceiling, whatever you want, you can call it. You see that both are having the same shape. The base is triangle, and the top is also a triangle. This is prism. Okay, so if the base shape and again the top, if they are the same, then that is called as prism. Whereas the other one is, you see that here, the base is a triangle, but the top is not a triangle and it is a pointed tip. Please see the difference between these two. All the prisms are pointed at the top. That's the basic difference between a prism and pyramid. So let me write the difference between these two. If you take a pyramid, whatever the base shape may be, the top is a pointed tip. Top is a pointed tip. Whereas here, in case of prism, base and the top, these two are congruent, are identical, or they are having the same shape. That's the basic difference. And next, suppose if you are asked to find the volume of a prism, volume of a prism, you know, volume equals to, volume equals to, if I ask you to, what is volume means, immediately what comes into your mind is length times width times, length times width times height. Agreed? So, in short, let me take length and width. What is length times width means in terms of, oops, I'm sorry. If you're thinking in terms of a two-dimensional figure, what is length times width means, then immediately in our mind area comes, right? Therefore, volume of a figure equals to area times height. So volume of a prism, you take for that matter any prism, volume of a prism equals to area times height. Okay. Then what is the volume of a pyramid? Volume of a pyramid is, it is, let me move the page a little to left. So volume of a pyramid equals to, it is one third, it is one third area of base, area of base. Don't worry, I'll give some examples. Area of base times height. Why we are taking one third? Why we are taking one third? Observe carefully that I am taking almost the same formula. Volume is area times height, and here also it is area times height. The only additional part is 1 over 3 for computing volume of a pyramid. Why and how means, if you want, let me draw quickly a pyramid. Oops. Let me draw a pyramid and a prism quickly. The shape is not so great. I'm sorry. Actually, let's take that you are given a prism and a pyramid. Okay. Now, let's say that these two are having the same basis. Like say that this is maybe 8 inches and this one is 6 inches, and the height is let's say that some 5 inches. Okay. And here also length is 8 inches, width is 6 inches, and height is 5 inches. So experimentally it is proved that just a moment, some part of the prism is missing, so let me draw again. It's okay, yeah, it's fine. So experimentally it is proved that anyhow I'm not computing here what is the value of this one. Say that this is 80 cubic inches. I'll show how I got this answer later. It is 80 cubic inches, and this one is 240 cubic inches. Okay, so how I got this I'm going to explain later. Just assume that if the pyramid is filled with some material, maybe some sand or maybe water kind of thing, and if you want to fill the prism, you have to take the whatever the material is given to you, and you have to pour 3 times. You have to pour the whatever the material is given, like say sand, water, or some grains kind of thing. You have to pour 3 times. When you pour 3 times, what happens is 3 times 80 equals to 240. Does it make sense? Or else you can say that one third of 240, one third of 240 equals to this one, right? Therefore, we say that volume of pyramid equals to one third volume of 1/3 volume of this prism. Just now we discussed a while ago that this prism is in the shape of a cuboid, so it is length times width times height. You know what is length times width means? We know that it is that represents area. Therefore, that's how we derived the formula, right? So let's take quickly some questions on both pyramid and prisms. Well, an example is given here. The first one is I see that the base and the top, these two are the same. These two are the same, right? Therefore, again, let me repeat again. I see that the base is, it seems it's a rectangle, and the top is also the same shape, the same, right? Therefore, if the base and the top are the same, we call this as prism. Let's say that you are asked to find volume of prism. So volume of prism equals to, it is area of base times height of the given object. I see that the base is in the shape of a rectangle. I learned and solved this one several times, how to find the area of a rectangle. So it's not a problem. So area of base is, it's a rectangle. Rectangle area is length times width, right? So let me plug in these values. I know that length is 8 yards, so that goes here, and width is 6 yards, that goes here, right? And height of this prism is 15, then that goes here. Now let me plug in these values. It is 8 times 6 times height is 15 yards. So 8 times 6, that gives me 48 times 15. If you want, you can make use of calculator. What is the value of 48 times 15? So 48 times 15 gives me 720. But don't forget that the units are to be mentioned. The units are to be mentioned clearly. So I see that it's given in yards. Therefore, it is it's going to be cubic yards. Okay. Let me give you another example. Say that this one seems to be something like a piece of cake. Then how to find the volume of this? So we take again the same formula, which is don't forget, guys, don't forget the formula is to always to be remembered. It is it should be memorized. So here volume of prism equals to, let me make it a little thick. Okay, so volume of prism equals to area of base times height. Area of base times height. That is the formula you have to remember. So let me take that volume of prism equals to area of base times height. So here, what is the area of base means? I see that this one is a triangle. This one is a triangle. So if this is 3 meters, you know, the opposite sides are parallel. Therefore, this is also going to be 3 meters. This is also going to be 3 meters, right? Now, what is the area of a triangle means? Guys, remember here, area of base means I have to compute area of triangle. Therefore, area of triangle means you know that it is half times, let me use a different color, it is half times base times height. Therefore, now plug in these values of the triangle. Half times what is base means, it is 4 units that goes here. Then what is the height of the triangle means, it is 3 units. This is 3 units. Oops, that is the height. Therefore, height of the triangle is 3 units. Right? So let me simplify this part. Half times 4 times 3, that is half of 12, that gives me 6 units, times. Then what is the height means, the other one is given is 5. Actually, it is not properly labeled. Let's say that this is the height. Okay, my bad. Okay, I think while computing this, I did not. Let me change the question a little. Say that so that to avoid the confusion, let's say that this is given 5. Okay. Now, height of this prism is 5. Therefore, 6 times 5, that gives me 30. Please remember, we are expected to express this one in cubic units. Therefore, cubic meters. I'm sorry, in the last minute I changed the numbers. Otherwise, we have to use the Pythagorean theorem, etc. Those kind of questions I'll explain a little later. Okay. Any questions on this? Well, back to back quickly. A few questions. Let me take this one first. Oops. Okay. Let me take the prism first. You know, volume. I know that here the base shape and the top, these two are having the same shape, right? Which is a rectangle, 3 inches long and 2 meters wide, right? So I see that these two are having the same shape. Therefore, I'm pretty sure that this is a prism. It's not a pyramid. Remember, pyramid means it has a tip at the top. It's not same as the base. So volume of a prism equals to area of base times height. And let me identify what's the shape of the base or the shape of the top. It's one and same. You know, it's one and same. Therefore, I know that it is area of a rectangle I have to find first. Therefore, area of a rectangle, this is to be computed first. You know how to find the area of a rectangle, which is length times width, right? So what is the length and width means? You see that length is 3 units here, which is 3 centimeters, and width is 2 centimeters here. So it is 2 centimeters. 3 times 2, that gives me 6 square centimeters. And coming to the height, you see that height of this one is given as 6 units. Okay, so 6 units. Therefore, 6 times 6, that gives me 36. Don't forget, the volume is always expressed in cubic units. Next, coming to finding the volume of a pyramid. Okay, it is almost same as finding the volume of a prism, but the only thing is it is one third of the volume of this one. So let me take one third, the same area of base times height. Now, what is the shape of the base means I see that this one is a square because length is, you see that length is 7 yards and width is also 7 yards. So length and width are the same. So I call this as a square. So let me plug in the values. Area of base means I know that it's a square. Therefore, it is side times side. Then side times side means 7 times 7. I'll write the units at the end. So one third of this one. And what is the height means you can see that height of this pyramid is given that 10 units that goes here. You can compute all together at once if you want. So it is one third, 7 times 7, 49 times 10. You know, while computing, don't do this mistake. The denominator, there is nothing you can assume 1, you can assume 1. Therefore, when you multiply the numerator, it is 1 times 49 times 10. Okay, so 1 times 49, that gives me 49 only. 49 times 10, it is 490 over denominator is 3 times 1, it is 3 times 1, again it is 3 only. Therefore 490 over 3. Let me express either fractions or as a decimal. Okay, so 490 divided by 3 gives you that 163.33. Again we are computing the volume, therefore it is cubic yards. The units are always expressed in cubic units. Okay, any questions on this? Well, let me go to the next page. This time, these questions are which are similar. What is the difference between these two means? If I take diagram 1, I see that the base is in the shape of a triangle. You see that the base is in the oops, apologies. You see that the base is in the shape of a triangle. This one is reminding me that if I go to a Delhi and I see that this one seems to be something like a piece of cake. And even the top is also in the shape of a triangle. So this one must be a prism, right? If it is a prism, then what is the condition means? Oops. What is the condition means? The condition, let me copy from the previous page. That is volume of a prism, area of base times height. Okay. So really you have to be very careful what kind of dimensions are given. So let's identify the dimensions carefully. Here, let me mark them. This is 2 units, this is 5, and this one is 4, and this one is 3. Okay, so what is area of base means? We know that the base is in the shape of a triangle. The base is in the shape of a triangle. So if this is 3, obviously this is also going to be 3 because opposite sides are equal, right? Therefore this is 3. There's nothing to do with this 5. It is extra information in order to mislead you. Therefore here while computing area of triangle, half times base times height. So it is half times base is 4 units and height is 3 units. Half times 4 times 3, half of 12, that gives me 6. And this is the height of the prism. Therefore 2 units. 6 times 2, I'm sorry. So it is 6 times 12, 12 cubic meters. Next, coming to the next diagram, I see that there is a tip at the top. So this one must be a pyramid. This one must be a pyramid. Therefore, how to compute the volume of a pyramid means you know that it is volume of pyramid is. Let me copy this one so that I can save some time. So let's go here. The volume of pyramid is equals to 1/3 area of base. I see that the base is again it's a triangle. You can see that it's a triangle. As I mentioned before, the area of base equals to here area of triangle means half times base times height. Sometimes there may be unnecessary information to divert to. You have to be really careful. I see that there is nothing to do with this hypotenuse of the triangle because when you are computing area of triangle, we need base and height and not necessarily the value of the hypotenuse. So here half times 8 times 6, that is half of 8 times 6 48, half of 48 is 24. So let me bring it down. This 1/3 times 24. And what is the height means? You see that this is given as 10 miles. Is it miles? Okay, so it's 10 times 10. Make use of calculator. You'll end up with 80 cubic units. Okay. Okay, so let's quickly summarize what have you learned today. In today's class, you learned that you learned two different things. One is prism, one is pyramid. Prism is the base and top are the same shape, and the pyramid is the top is pointed. And the volume of this one, volume of prism equals to area of base times height of the object. And volume of pyramid is volume equals to 1/3 the same, which is area of base times height. Okay, that's it.